In the heart of the vibrant village of Langa, life thrived amid colorful markets and the constant sound of laughter. The people of Langa were known for their close-knit community and joyful celebrations. Among them was Amara, a woman admired for her beauty and kindness. Her eyes sparkled with a deep, mysterious light, and her smile could lift anyone's spirits. Despite the admiration she received, Amara remained single, feeling a deep sense of loneliness. Determined to change her fate, Amara sought the advice of Nana, the village seer. Nana's heart was a place of ancient wisdom, filled with the scent of burning herbs and the soft murmur of old songs. When Amara entered, Nana welcomed her with a knowing gaze. "My child," Nana began, her voice rich with the wisdom of ages, "your destiny holds great promise. The man who becomes the father of your child will be destined to lead our village, bringing prosperity and peace." Amara listened intently, her heart filled with hope. She resolved to meet every eligible man in Langa, searching for the one who would fulfill the prophecy and bring a new era to her village. Little did she know that her journey would soon unfold into a tale of trials and revelations that would shape the future of Langa. Weeks passed, then Amara's search for a husband became a topic of endless conversation in Langa. The villagers eagerly discussed her quest at every gathering, each person offering their opinions and advice. Amara met with many suitors, each one presenting their strengths and virtues, but none seemed to meet the high expectations set by Nana's prophecy. One day, Amara discovered that she was pregnant. The news spread quickly through the village, and the excitement was palpable. Families with eligible sons began to claim the unborn child as their own, eager to ensure that their lineage would be part of the prophecy's fulfillment. The atmosphere in Langa grew tense as the villagers eagerly anticipated the birth of Amara's child. As Amara's due date approached, the village was filled with a mixture of anticipation and anxiety. The once joyful chatter of the market was now overshadowed by the urgent discussions of who would be the rightful father and future leader of Langa. The elders convened, and every eligible man in the village vied for a chance to prove his claim. The situation seemed to be escalating toward conflict, and Amara could only hope that the prophecy would guide them to a peaceful resolution. The day of Amara's labor arrived with a mix of excitement and nervous energy. Amara gave birth to a healthy baby boy, whom she named Bantu. The village erupted into celebration, but along with the joy came the challenge of identifying the father of the child. The prophecy stated that the father would become the leader of Langa, and this declaration intensified the competition among the men. The elders of the village convened once more, debating how to determine the true father. Each man wanted to prove his claim, and the tension in the village grew palpable. Despite the chaos, Amara remained calm and hopeful. She knew that the prophecy held the key to her village's future and that, in time, the truth would come to light. With her newborn son in her arms, she waited for the village to find a resolution that would bring harmony and prosperity. A week after Bantu's birth, the council of elders gathered beneath the ancient sacred tree, a revered symbol of wisdom and tradition in Langa. The air was thick with anticipation as the elders prepared to make a crucial decision. The eldest among them, a man known for his fairness and insight, spoke to the gathered crowd. "Our ancestors have always guided us in times of uncertainty," he began. "We must seek their wisdom to solve this dilemma." Nana, the village seer, stepped forward, her eyes shimmering with an otherworldly light. She addressed the villagers, "I have consulted the spirits, and they have advised us to perform a test to determine not only the father of the child but also the future leader of our village." The villagers listened in awe as Nana explained the details of the test. The challenge was to retrieve a sacred amulet from the summit of the sacred tree. The man who succeeded in this task would be declared the true father and the rightful leader of Langa. The crowd murmured in surprise, realizing that this test would not only determine the father of Bantu but also the future path of their village. The following morning, the village gathered to witness the start of the test. 6 men, each representing different families, stood ready at the base of the sacred tree. The tree was known for its towering presence and spiritual significance. The path to the summit was steep and treacherous, filled with natural obstacles and mystical challenges. Nana, with the support of the elders, explained the rules of the test. Each man will journey to the top of the sacred tree and retrieve the amulet. The path is difficult, and only the one who approaches with a pure heart and true intent will succeed. The sound of a conch shell signaled the beginning of the test, and the men set off with determination. As they climbed, the men faced various challenges, crossing turbulent rivers, navigating dense forests, and scaling rocky cliffs. Each trial tested their physical endurance and mental resolve. The journey was not only a test of strength but also of character, as the men grappled with their own fears and desires along the way. On the day of the test, the village square was abuzz with activity. The men prepared for their journey, each carrying supplies and offerings to present at the sacred tree. Their faces were a mix of resolve and anxiety, reflecting the significance of the task ahead. Amara, holding Bantu close, observed the preparations with a quiet determination. As the sun rose, the men began their journey, following the path that led to the sacred tree. The villagers watched with bated breath, knowing that this test would determine not only the future father of Bantu but also the leader of their village. The air was filled with anticipation as the men disappeared into the distance, their steps echoing with the weight of their mission. The journey to the sacred tree was fraught with challenges that tested the men's resolve. The path was narrow and winding, and the forest seemed to come alive with strange sounds and moving shadows. Rivers twisted like serpents, and the rocky cliffs loomed high above. The men faced obstacles that required both physical strength and mental courage. One of the most daunting challenges was the altar at the base of the sacred tree. It was marked with ancient symbols and surrounded by a pool of clear water. The altar was said to reflect the deepest fears and desires of those who approached it. The men found themselves confronted with visions and reflections that revealed their innermost thoughts and emotions. As they faced these trials, the men were forced to confront their own weaknesses and desires. The journey became not only a physical challenge but also a spiritual one, as each man grappled with the true nature of his character. The altar presented a crucial test for each of the men. They were required to offer something of great value to them, but the altar remained closed to those who did not approach with sincerity. Some men placed gold and precious objects on the altar, while others presented heirlooms and family tokens. Despite their efforts, the path to the sacred tree remained obstructed. The altar seemed to judge not only the material value of the offerings but also the intentions behind them. The men began to realize that true worth lay not in material possessions but in the purity of their hearts. Their struggle to open the path reflected their own internal conflicts and aspirations. As the men continued their efforts, a subtle shift occurred. Kofi, one of the suitors, approached the altar with a different perspective. Rather than placing an object on the altar, he knelt and offered a heartfelt prayer. Kofi's prayer was a plea for the well-being of the village, for Amara, and for the future of their people. As Kofi finished his prayer, the altar began to glow with a gentle light. The path to the sacred tree opened, revealing a clearer route to the summit. The other men, moved by Kofi's display of genuine compassion and humility, followed him up the mountain. They sensed that their journey was more than just a physical ascent, it was a path to self-discovery and spiritual enlightenment. At the peak of the sacred tree, the night sky was adorned with countless stars. The sacred amulet, bathed in the soft light of the moon, seemed to pulse with a divine glow. The amulet was a symbol of truth and leadership, and its significance was deeply rooted in the village's traditions. Kofi approached the amulet, his hands trembling with a mix of awe and anticipation. As he touched the amulet, its glow intensified, casting a beam of light into the sky before it returned in a shower of radiant sparks. The scene was both mesmerizing and profound, marking the culmination of the men's journey and the fulfillment of the prophecy. As Kofi held the amulet high, a voice from the heavens spoke, declaring him the true father of Bantu and the rightful leader of Langa. The villagers, gathered below, watched in awe as the celestial light illuminated the scene. The prophecy had been fulfilled, and the village's future seemed clear. Kofi descended the sacred tree, the amulet in his possession. The villagers greeted him with a mix of reverence and celebration. Amara, though relieved, still had questions and uncertainties. Kofi's claim to the leadership was not without its challenges, and the village would need to come together to accept and support their new leader. In the days that followed, Kofi's acceptance as the father of Bantu and the new leader of Langa was met with both enthusiasm and resistance. Some villagers embraced the change, hopeful for a new era of prosperity. Others, however, were skeptical and questioned Kofi's ability to lead. Amara, though supportive of the prophecy's fulfillment, was troubled by the lingering doubts within the village. She sought guidance from Nana, hoping to find a way to unite the people and ensure a smooth transition of leadership. Nana's wisdom was invaluable as she advised Amara to focus on the common good and work toward bridging the gaps between the different factions within the village. Kofi's leadership faced immediate challenges as he worked to address the concerns of the villagers. The process of unifying the community required patience and understanding. Kofi held meetings with the elders, spoke to various groups within the village, and made efforts to address the issues that had caused division. Amara, who had grown close to Kofi through their shared experiences, assisted him in his efforts. Together, they worked to promote open dialogue and collaboration among the villagers. Despite their efforts, the process of reconciliation was slow, and Kofi had to navigate through the complexities of leadership with wisdom and grace. To foster unity and celebrate the new leadership, Kofi organized a grand festival known as the Festival of Renewal. The festival was a vibrant display of Langa's culture, with music, dance, and feasting. It was intended to bring the village together and reinforce the bonds of community. The festival was a success, with the villagers participating eagerly in the celebrations. The event served as a reminder of the village's shared heritage and the values that bound them together. The joy and camaraderie experienced during the festival helped to heal some of the lingering divisions within the community. As Kofi settled into his role as leader, he faced a series of challenges that tested his resolve. The demands of leadership included managing disputes, making difficult decisions, and addressing the needs of the village. Kofi found himself grappling with the complexities of his new role and the expectations placed upon him. Amara remained a supportive ally, offering advice and assistance as Kofi navigated the trials of leadership. Their collaboration was instrumental in overcoming the obstacles that arose. The village began to see the positive changes brought about by Kofi's leadership, and the sense of unity continued to grow. Despite the progress made under Kofi's leadership, a lingering mystery remained. Whispers of hidden truths and unresolved questions surfaced within the village. Amara, driven by her sense of justice and curiosity, began to investigate the origins of the prophecy and the true nature of the amulet. Her quest for answers led her to ancient texts and forgotten legends. She discovered that the prophecy was not as straightforward as it seemed and that the amulet held deeper significance. Amara's findings revealed new layers to the village's history and the prophecy's origins. Amara shared her discoveries with Kofi, and together they sought to understand the full scope of the prophecy and the amulet's true power. They consulted with Nana and the elders, piecing together the fragments of the ancient legends. The revelations were both enlightening and unsettling. It became clear that the prophecy had been misinterpreted, and the amulet's true purpose was to guide the village toward harmony and collective well-being, rather than individual leadership. The unveiling of this truth prompted a reevaluation of the village's values and direction. Armed with the truth, Amara confronted Kofi and the elders in the village square. The crowd gathered, sensing the gravity of the moment. "The amulet has shown me the true meaning of the prophecy," Amara declared. It was not about a single leader but about uniting the village and embracing the collective wisdom of our people. Kofi, confronted with the evidence and the new understanding of the prophecy, could only hang his head in reflection. The village was turned into silence, grappling with the revelations and the need for a new approach to leadership and unity. With the truth revealed, the elders convened to decide the best way forward. They chose a new approach to leadership, emphasizing shared responsibility and collective decision-making. Juma, the respected elder known for his wisdom and integrity, was chosen to guide the village in this new era. Juma accepted the responsibility with humility and a commitment to fostering unity and cooperation. Under his guidance, the village began to heal from the shock of the revelations and worked toward building a more inclusive and harmonious community. Under Juma's leadership, the village of Langa flourished. He worked alongside Amara, who had found peace and fulfillment in her role as a guiding force within the community. The tale of Bantu and the journey to the sacred tree became a story of wisdom and redemption passed down through generations. Amara's heart, once heavy with loneliness, found joy in the new chapter of her life. The village thrived, and Bantu grew up knowing the legacy of his birth and the strength of truth and unity. The story of Langa's transformation became a beacon of hope and inspiration for future generations.